Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Before we dive deep into today's explosive expose, make sure you hit that subscribe button, like this video, and share it widely, because what's unfolding in Zimbabwe right now is nothing short of political betrayal at the highest level. The nation's so-called opposition, the very people meant to challenge power, hold leaders accountable, and protect democracy, are being accused of colluding with ZANU-PF to keep President Mnangagwa firmly in control. And if what's being whispered in political corridors is true, then Zimbabwe's opposition isn't just weak, it's compromised, bought, and sold to the very system it once promised to fight. For months, tension has been brewing behind the scenes. Citizens had begun to sense that something wasn't right. Opposition figures who once shouted change at the top of their lungs suddenly grew quiet. Parliamentary debates that used to end in fiery exchanges now resemble tea parties. Rumors started spreading that backroom meetings were taking place, not between opposition parties, but between opposition leaders and ZANU-PF insiders. And now, the pieces are beginning to fit together in a way that paints a dark picture of betrayal and manipulation. According to several insiders, what's unfolding is a carefully orchestrated plan by ZANU-PF to maintain Mnangagwa's grip on power while projecting an image of political pluralism. The strategy: co-opt the opposition, neutralize dissent, control the narrative. Rather than banning or jailing them, which only attracts international criticism, ZANU-PF allegedly found it easier to infiltrate and fund them, turning them into loyal pawns dressed as critics. Opposition leaders, who once claimed to be voices of the people, are now accused of taking backdoor deals, secret allowances, and diplomatic favors in exchange for silence or strategic confusion during crucial political moments. Look at the signs. Each time there's a crisis, an election, or a major scandal, instead of a united opposition demanding accountability, there's chaos, infighting, and mixed messaging. The 2023 elections were supposed to be a turning point, a moment for renewal, a chance to reclaim hope. But what did Zimbabweans get? Divided opposition movements, splinter groups, recalls, court battles, and endless blame games. It was as if the opposition's greatest mission wasn't to remove ZANU-PF, but to destroy itself from within. And many Zimbabweans have started asking, was this chaos really accidental? Or was it part of a well-funded ZANU-PF operation to ensure that no real challenge to Mnangagwa could ever rise again? Whistleblowers claim that certain opposition MPs are being quietly rewarded for their cooperation, given farms, vehicles, or political immunity, all while pretending to be defenders of democracy. Others are reportedly allowed to travel freely, to hold rallies or press conferences, while genuine activists are arrested for far less. This selective tolerance has raised eyebrows. It's becoming clearer that some of these so-called opposition figures are not threats to the regime, they are tools of it. They exist to make the system look democratic while ensuring nothing ever changes. The biggest shock came when reports surfaced that opposition negotiators had agreed not to oppose Mnangagwa's rumored plan to extend his rule beyond the constitutional two-term limit. Behind closed doors, a secret understanding is said to have been reached, allowing Mnangagwa to secure another term under the guise of national unity or political stability. The very same opposition leaders who once called him a dictator now speak of dialogue, peace, and cooperation. It's as if everyone suddenly forgot about the stolen elections, the violence, and the repression. The silence is deafening, and for millions of struggling Zimbabweans, it feels like a betrayal beyond words. This political collusion isn't just about keeping one man in power. It's about destroying faith in democracy itself. When opposition leaders start sounding like the ruling party, when watchdogs become lapdogs, the people lose trust. And without trust, there's no democracy, just a performance designed to keep citizens distracted while the real deals are made in luxury boardrooms and secret government houses. Ordinary Zimbabweans, however, are not fooled. Across Harare, Bulawayo, Mute, and Gweru, conversations in bars, buses, and marketplaces all echo the same sentiment: they are all the same. People now believe both the ruling elite and the opposition are feeding from the same trough while the nation sinks deeper into poverty, unemployment, and despair. The cost of living has soared, civil servants can't afford transport, hospitals are underfunded, and the Zimbabwe dollar continues to crash, yet the political elite remain united in comfort. Many are now asking, where is the real opposition? Where are the voices of courage, the fighters, the true patriots willing to speak truth to power even at personal risk? Some point to a handful of activists still facing arrests and intimidation, people like Job Sikhola, whose persecution stands as a painful reminder of what happens to those who refuse to play along. Yet while genuine fighters suffer, the fake opposition dines with the very people who oppress them. The situation has reached a dangerous stage. With the opposition compromised, the media silenced, and civic spaces shrinking, Mnangagwa's power has never looked stronger. But paradoxically, it's also never been more fragile. Because when you rule by deceit, you build a nation of silent observers waiting for a moment to explode. And history shows that regimes built on manipulation and betrayal never last forever, they crumble under the weight of their own lies. Inside the corridors of ZANU-PF, there's growing confidence. The president's loyalists are boasting that 2030 is secured, that ED will finish his vision. They say the opposition is under control. But in the shadows, something else is brewing, a new generation of Zimbabweans, younger, angrier, and far less patient with political theater. They don't care about party colors or slogans, they care about jobs, dignity, and freedom. They see the fake unity for what it is, a deal between elites to share the spoils of power while the masses remain in poverty. And so, Zimbabwe stands at a crossroads once again. On one side, a system determined to survive by any means necessary, using both fear and bribery to control the political landscape. On the other, a restless population growing more aware, more connected, and more disillusioned than ever before. The question is, how long can the lie hold? How long can Mnangagwa and his so-called opponents keep pretending to be enemies when their interests are clearly aligned? One thing is certain, truth always finds a way. No matter how well they hide it, no matter how many opposition figures they buy or silence, the people of Zimbabwe are watching. They are learning. And when the tide finally turns, history will remember who stood for the people and who sold their souls for comfort and power. Thank you for watching, my friends. If this story made you think, if you believe Zimbabwe deserves better, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video. Let's keep exposing the lies and shining a light on the truth, because as long as there are voices willing to speak, the flame of freedom will never die.